This is VOA News. I'm Joe Ramsey. Russia on Tuesday struck at military and infrastructure targets in Ukraine's capital Kyiv and across other parts of the country, including western areas far from the front lines, Ukrainian officials said. Russia's defense ministry said for its part Russian forces had hit and destroyed 8 ammunition warehouses across Ukraine in the last 24 hours and repelled Ukrainian attacks in 3 different directions. Also on Tuesday, local authorities in the Russian-controlled town of Nova Kakhovka in the southern Kherson region said a Ukrainian drone strike killed a woman and wounded 4 other people. 2 weeks after a dam breach caused massive flooding in southern Ukraine, a village in the Mykolaiv region shows the evidence of the scale of destruction. Reuters correspondent Edward Barn has more.
The collapse of the dam on June 6 unleashed floodwaters across southern Ukraine and Russian-occupied parts of the Kherson region, destroying homes and cutting off supplies. Locals in Pavlo-Marianivka say that farmlands were completely flooded, with several thousand acres of barley, sunflower and other crops destroyed. There's no gas or running water in the village. Authorities have fixed the power supply, but people are afraid to turn it on because their houses remain wet.
Reuters correspondent Edward Barron. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on Tuesday said the sinking of a fishing boat full of migrants off the coast of Greece called for urgent action.
It is horrible what happened, and the more urgent is that we act.
At least 79 people died and many more missing after one of the worst disasters of its kind this year. This is VOA News. A police official in Honduras says a riot at a women's prison northwest of the Honduran capital has killed at least 41 women, most of them burned to death. Honduran National Police Investigation Agency spokesman Yuri Mori said the riot broke out at a women's prison in a town about 30 miles northwest of the capital. Mora says most victims were burned, but there are also reports of inmates shot at the prison. Other officials said the riot possibly was related to corruption or gang control inside the prison. American and Canadian authorities say they've expanded their search and rescue teams into deeper waters to find the missing submersible that vanished while taking tourists on a $250,000 trip under the sea to the wreck of the Titanic. Reuters correspondent Matthew Laratunda reports.
Hamish Harding, a British billionaire, is believed to be aboard and said on social media that he was one of the mission's specialists. One of the missing persons is reportedly Stockton Rush, the founder of a company called OceanGate, which ran the operation. 2 others aboard are Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman. Dawood is an executive at one of Pakistan's largest conglomerates, Engro Corporation, and was reportedly piloted by Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a French explorer and the director of underwater research at a company that owns the wreck of the Titanic.
Reuters correspondent Matthew Laratunda. U.S. Republican lawmakers are blasting the plea deal for Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's son, which comes days after the Justice Department indicted Donald Trump. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Magani reports.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and others used the same phrase.
It continues to show the two-tier system in America.
Saying while the government is trying to put President Biden's top political opponent in prison,
if you are the president's son, you get a sweetheart deal.
Trump himself says on social media the agreement to resolve Hunter Biden's case is a mere traffic ticket. Other Republicans call it a slap on the wrist. McCarthy says the House GOP's investigation of what it calls corruption in the Biden family's business dealings will continue. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The U.S. has imposed sanctions on a South Sudanese military officer and governor accused in connection with rapes of hundreds of women and girls. The Treasury Department says they are the first U.S. sanctions issued with a dedicated focus on conflict-related sexual violence. I'm Joe Ramsey, VOA.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.